Looks like Charlie Kirk's been shot. I was here at the KHTS studio, and I heard the news from our boy Kate Alvey over at all those in favor, who unfortunately had beloved ones there that witnessed this. So we've been able to confirm this from eyewitnesses. Also, we're getting a lot of reports from videos showing up that Charlie Kirk was indeed. We can't say anything other than shot right now, what we can confirm. But yeah, this is pretty intense. There's a lot going on. I'm going to be keeping you guys abreast as we do this. Just so you know, if you want to be following us live and see some of the videos that we're referencing, I'm actually currently at hometownstation.com, and they have allowed us very graciously to use their studios. I was here recording the senior hour, and this happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be moving this cell phone around so you guys can see what's going on. I got our girl Jade Aubuchon here, who is in charge of KHTS News, who's going to be actually feeding us some videos and everything like that. And I also got the rest of the news crew here, Andrew and what'd you say?
Jen.
Yes. Andrew and Jen. I was trying to think of the program. OBS, that's right. Running the OBS for us here. So anyway, it's going to be a little bit hectic, as these things kind of are. And pretty soon you're going to hear us coming live on KHTS to talk about this. Also, Jonah, feel free. Austin, feel free to go in and change the thumbnail on this. And we're just...
Kirk was attending an event at Utah Valley University. Which very, very little information. This is going to be a big political debate here at...
Go to Deseret News yesterday, because I know that he had some threats.
Interesting.
Yes. Charlie Kirk showing up to UVU, there was a big controversy, which is frankly a commentary on our culture in Utah. You want to read it really fast?
Yes, absolutely. So Charlie Kirk is actually, this is his kickoff event for the American Comeback Tour, which started at Utah Valley University. It was supposed to be starting at noon. So obviously this happened a couple of minutes before. So he was going back to the classics in terms of his Prove Me Wrong table, which I think anyone who's ever seen a meme can recognize the Prove Me Wrong table from Charlie Kirk. I think that anybody who doesn't know who Charlie Kirk is at least knows the Prove Me Wrong table.
Yeah, I was about going to say that's you might as well say you don't know what the Twilight Zone is in the 1950s or something. But okay, what did you glean from the Deseret News article? Any specific threats, or is it just the chatter that you usually see online?
It's the usual chatter. So just one moment.
Okay.
We are coming back for KHTS News. This is a special broadcast. We are here to report that famed political commentator Charlie Kirk appears to have been shot during an incident at Utah Valley University. Charlie Kirk was kicking off his new American Comeback Tour, and it was supposed to start at noon when what we saw in social media videos online is what appeared to be...
To talk about Charlie Kirk going live. So anyway, a lot of people are asking, is he going to be okay? I got to tell you, based off of this video, I don't see how. This seems to have been done at a pretty close range. And the video is incredible. Are you guys able to pull up some of the videos of the crowd running and the actual... Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see what we're looking at, you can actually check us out at hometownstation.com, where we're going to be going live there. Is this one mine?
It is now.
Okay.
That is your water now. So we do have to go back into a little bit of the background on this.
Yes.
We were talking about it before. This was the kickoff event for Charlie Kirk's the American Comeback Tour. And ahead of that, there had actually been a petition circulated requesting that the faculty at Utah State bar Kirk from coming to campus, stating that the commentator doesn't align with the college's value of inclusivity. So there had been concerns ahead of the event about whether or not he would be entirely accepted. So Unfortunately, in this case, this has resulted in injuries. We do know that one person has now been detained according to the security at the UVU campus, and it does appear to be an older male.
Okay. Geez, man. There's the WardRadio half of me that wants to make cultural commentary on Utah right now that is really having to fight this. Can you show the video really fast?
Yes,
And
let
pull
me
it
pull
up
that
just
right
so that
up for
some of
you.
the WardRadio listeners can see this so they know that we're not just spouting nonsense here. Thank you very much to Cade and all those in favor.
Injured in some way, something struck him. We cannot really speak to more than that in terms of his actual condition. And you can absolutely jump over to Cardin's live stream in order to be able to see some of this footage. An edited version of it will also be put up on our website itself.
And I hate to say it, but what do you see on the poster behind Charlie Kirk? Stop it for a second. That end gets really dark really fast.
Let me loop that through.
And anybody that watches CSI knows.
All right, let me actually slow down this playback speed.
Yeah,
We're going to play this at 0.5 and let me back it up. Oh, I think I might actually need to go slower. Looking at that in there. Whoop. Let's get rid of my settings.
And I just pressed a
Yikes.
button on your laptop.
Wow,
I'm sorry.
I see how it is. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
that
there's.
does not look good.
This does not look good at all. So, I hate to say this, but this seems like an RFK moment. Not an RFK. Who was assassinated down in Los Angeles?
Yes.
It was RFK. Not RFK Jr., yes.
Senior.
RFK
Yeah.
Senior.
There we go. You can see that again. So yes, upon repeat in slow motion, you do absolutely see that there is some sort of detritus coming off of Mr. Kirk, for lack of a better term at this point. I don't want to necessarily say that it is blood or that it is particulate of some. It is a particulate of some kind. I can't necessarily say what it is. I can't see the color, but you absolutely see when he is struck with some sort of impact, there is something coming off of him. So I think we can say very comfortably that Mr. Kirk has been injured, but we do not know the extent of that at this point. As I mentioned previously, there has been one suspect detained, and it has been identified as an older male. We do not know his name, obviously, or any identification. And here at KHTS, we will be waiting for official identification from law enforcement for additional updates. But we do know that the local congressman for the area has weighed in and has been contacting local law enforcement.
Also, this is, I mean, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but it's kind of odd that yesterday the Deseret News literally says, campus martyr or cultural warrior Charlie Kirk is coming to Utah's colleges. Campus martyr or cultural warrior Charlie Kirk is coming to Utah's colleges. Somebody's really either regretting that
Title?
that title right now, or you can decide what the other option is. Anything new? Can you see on the video, Jade, who might have done this? Because we know it's over his left shoulder. You see the N.
Yeah, we do
Therefore,
have
you
a
can.
different
Here's another
angle.
video. Okay.
I'm going to bring this up, and then let's see what we got here. All right, it looks like we're looking at another. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, don't show that other.
Yeah, we are not going to be showing
Okay.
this
Hold
other.
on. Oh my gosh. Oh, guys.
Mr. Kirk has absolutely been terribly injured in the neck area of his body, and it appears to be is very seriously injured according to what I am seeing here. We are still waiting for confirmation. He can absolutely still receive medical treatment, but he needs it badly.
Oh my gosh. Charlie Kirk was just shot in the neck, and there's been some kind of, I could not describe it as anything other than catastrophic arterial damage.
Very good way to put it.
Yeah, there's
I think a lot of blood would be the simplest way to put it.
I don't know, without immediate medical attention from and that's assuming that his neck survives this. It's disturbing to watch. Okay, what's the next video down? Is this the person that's been arrested?
That is allegedly, nobody has been arrested. I would like to reiterate that. No one has been arrested.
That
And
we
also-
know yet.
Yes, and also I cannot confirm because that is not a law enforcement page.
Yeah.
That could absolutely just be somebody who is kneeling in the crowd. So we do have to be careful of that.
Okay.
But supposedly
So
an
this
older
is
gentleman.
not confirmed, but there's an older gentleman that's being swamped right now by law enforcement, and people are claiming that this is the person that did it. Now, that of course has not been confirmed, but can you pull up? This will be in Orem, the city of Orem. So if you can pull up Orem PD's Twitter,
PD, is it Utah?
Orem PD Utah.
How are we spelling it?
Orem is OREM, yes.
Girl,
We are in Los
now.
Angeles, California. You just earned yourself a free trip to Utah Valley University. Anyway,
Let's see what we got here. Let me see if I can pull up any of their social media accounts. This is going to be a very. This is. When it comes to any part of these immediate incidents, it is very difficult to sometimes find for some of these. I don't want to necessarily say smaller, but compared to Los Angeles County Sheriff,
Yeah.
everything is a smaller police department. It is very difficult to get up to the second updates.
Yeah.
So please keep that in mind. I am pulling up their Facebook and their Twitter pages, and we're going to see whether or not they've put out anything in particular. What do you know about Orem, Utah?
Orem, Utah is basically someone call it a suburb of Provo. ABC4 Utah is probably going to be good. So this we got from Newsweek. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot near the neck Wednesday during a student Q&A at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. According to bystander accounts, I can confirm personally, family and loved ones that have made the same bystander accounts. What we do know, Charlie was shot near the neck while seated during a live Q&A session. Just from the blood that I've seen, I don't see how they hit anything other than a main artery. It's like a war film. Eyewitnesses say he fell from his chair as shots were fired. An evacuation of the UVU campus was initiated following reports of an active shooter. And U.S. Senator Mike Lee posted that he is monitoring the situation and urged prayers for Kirk. We mirror those prayers for Charlie Kirk as well. And multiple local sources have confirmed the shooting, but officials remain limited. The shooter is reportedly in custody.
Yes, it is. He is reportedly in custody, and we have received some comment from the local FBI offices, as well as senators who are in the area, as well as the Vice President J.D. Vance as well. So the Federal Bureau of Investigation Director Kash Patel did state, quote, "We are closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and investigation," unquote. That is, once again, Kash Patel, Federal Bureau of Investigation Director. We have also received additional comments, as I said previously, from our Vice President J.D. Vance. He hasn't really said much, but he has posted on the site formerly known as Twitter, quote, "Say a prayer for Charlie Kirk, a genuinely good guy and a young father," unquote. So we are going to be trying to get you more updates, but things are very, very slight when it comes to the actual shooter themselves, as well as Mr. Kirk's current status, unfortunately. But as we said previously, looking at eyewitness accounts, it is not looking good.
Yeah, and we just got a comment from Gavin Newsom, which may be unpopular in this time with a lot of people, but his real estate just went up in my book. Said the attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form. And I think that could not be said better than rejecting political violence in every single form. I'm going to actually, while you guys are looking up more details right now and talking about it, I'm actually going to be texting some folks here, getting some more bystander accounts, because I actually had friends that were in that audience.
During the kickoff of his new America Comeback Tour at the Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, I believe you said, Cardin, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. This has been a very fluid situation, I believe is the best way to put it. You know, we were supposed to have a different show happening right
Oh,
as this
geez.
happened.
Yeah, our apologies to the senior hour.
Yes. Unfortunately, when it comes to something like national news, especially on a broad stage such as this, it does take precedent. We do know from eyewitness accounts as well as videos that both Cardin and myself have seen that Mr. Kirk appears to have been shot in what appears to be the neck or upper torso and has been injured from our non-medical perspective, what appears to be very badly. We have not heard any more updates officially about Mr. Kirk's condition, but we are hearing from friends of yours who were there that it is very serious.
Yeah, there's no way you can look at that video and not think the exact same thing. Can we really quickly go over the videos that are far enough away
Yes.
that they're not going to be graphic enough? Full disclosure, if you have any kids in the car, or you have any friends that are sensitive, I wouldn't of his series, the Prove Me Wrong tent. Charlie Kirk was sitting there very casually like he normally does. And I don't know how you describe this as some kind of wild failure of security or...
Which, let's describe the scene real quick. This
Yeah.
is taking place in a college quad. So you are talking about a large green space that is surrounded by taller buildings and a natural amphitheater, which is, you know, suited to an event like this where everyone in the crowd is going to be able to see and specifically hear the speaker, especially without the use of electronic assistance. So it does make it a little bit more understandable from a geographical perspective how this may have happened, but I think there is absolutely some grounds in order for there to be a discussion about the security of this incident, especially considering what we were talking about earlier, considering the fact that we know that there had been a very widespread petition that had been circulated around the campus in the days before Mr. Kirk arrived that had actually collected over 6,000 signatures requesting that the campus administration not allow Mr. Kirk on campus due to his political beliefs.
Now, that is kind of par for the course, unfortunately, for college, college campuses and anything to the left of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So we can't really say that that was a data point out of the norm. And 6,000 students on campus, that seems pretty easy too. I mean, please bring Taylor Swift to our city. That petition would get 1 million signatures.
Yeah, and as you mentioned as well, this is also a very large college campus now. I think you were saying it's now the largest in the state.
It's the largest educational institution in the state. It dwarfs Brigham Young University, probably the most well-known in the state, by nearly 10,000 students, if I'm not mistaken. Can you look up the exact statistics on that?
I can, well, BYU is 30,000.
Yeah, BYU is about 30,000. I believe you passed 45,000 recently, did they not? We're going to check that before we commit to that. Got a couple of super chats here that I'm just going to address. Rodato Vergara says, check the Deseret News article you mentioned. They just changed the title to Charlie Kirk Brings Prove Me Wrong Tour to Utah this week. Okay, so originally, as we pointed out, the Deseret News had said, is he a cultural warrior or a cultural martyr? It looks like they must be tuned into this show, because I'm pretty confident we were one of the first people to notice that, maybe not the best title, or premonition, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, back to some of these videos so you guys can catch up and see where this was. If any of you are familiar with the campus, there's a very large quad that is behind a large... I wouldn't call it tunnel, but it's the student section. Well, I mean, the whole entire campus is the student section. But it's the part of campus where they oftentimes have the different pop-up tents and the different displays for people that are doing everything from hiring to clubs that are trying to recruit new members to their clubs. And here you can see everybody just evacuating, some of them a lot more casually than others. Can you go back to the original video?
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of scrolling, so bear with me. Oh, that's
Okay.
the violent video, so we are going
Yeah,
to
we'll skip that
continue
one.
moving on here. As I mentioned before, just for our on-air guests who are joining us here in Santa Clarita, is we are currently covering the apparent shooting of Charlie Kirk. I shouldn't say apparent, excuse me. I'm doing multiple things right now.
Yeah,
Bear with me.
exactly. Yeah.
I might be a millennial, but starting to scroll and talk at the same time about two different things is sometimes beyond even my capabilities.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been a very fluid situation. We have heard that an adult male, and apparently an older adult male, has been detained by at the very least campus security and law enforcement as a suspect in this shooting. We really haven't heard any other info outside of this besides the fact it is an older man. We've seen some footage that is currently unconfirmed as to his description, but until and unless law enforcement says something, we can't just say that this wasn't just a guy in the crowd. We really can't.
Yeah.
So, we can't really talk too much about what is going on there. So hopefully we will be receiving updates. We do know that the FBI is on this. We do know that the governor of Utah has been updated. And we do know that there is a lot going on behind the scenes in terms of our leadership in this country. And, I think it's fair to say that our thoughts and prayers do go out to Mr. Kirk's family. He is a father, and goodness, we would, regardless of who you are and what you believe in,
Yeah.
nobody wants to see this happen to a family, and especially a family with such young children.
Yes, exactly. Commentaries pouring in from everybody from both sides. Thankfully, it seems like the nation is healing, because we can at least all agree that political violence in all forms is absolutely inappropriate. I can say one thing for sure. The Steven Crowder Changed My Mind and the Charlie Kirk Prove Me Wrong series just ended. Like, that's not going to be going on for a very, very long time. And a lot of campuses are going to have to really reevaluate their security protocols. We are getting a lot more information now coming in. We have been able to confirm some things, okay? It looks like there's not any two people. And so forth, you can figure out it came from a certain distance away. This appears to have been all but point blank. Actually, I wouldn't say point blank.
I wouldn't say point blank, because we
Yeah.
can't see the shooter on the footage.
Very close. Close enough. I have my CCW, and I have to qualify within range of what just happened to Charlie Kirk. So anybody out there that has ever qualified for their CCW, it's a similar distance and a similar scenario to close combat, shall we say. Close quarters, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, just to provide a little bit more context, I do want to give a shout out to the Deseret News. I think that they're doing
The Deseret News.
Deseret News. I will absolutely
Yeah.
stick with your expertise on how the heck to pronounce that. But they're doing a great job covering this, so I do want to give them a shout out. So they provided a little bit more context to the moments leading up to the shooting. And apparently Mr. Kirk had been taking part in a Q&A with students before the actual kickoff of his event, which was set to start at 12 p.m. And he was about 2 minutes into an interview with some students when he was shot. So that is very unfortunate. I hope that those kids are okay. Because, I mean, a college campus, you got to remember, yes, there's a lot of people who are older who are going back to college. These are a lot of late teens. Take
a picture of that before you change
very early 20s kids who are very unfortunately in very close contact with a very violent incident, and I hope that they get the support that they will need.
Yeah. This is not able to be described as anything other than a tragedy where you will remember where you were standing when this happened. Would it be fair to say, I would argue this, Jade, this would be a millennial RFK?
Possibly, yeah. I think
In terms of influence, love him or hate him, this is a millennial RFK.
I think possibly. The only reason I say possibly is because you have to realize when you're talking about, we're not that far apart in age, but every couple of weeks we have a school get shot up. We have a school get shot up, and there is an argument for desensitization. Pretend I can talk.
Yeah. And
I think that place would be held by an incident such as Sandy Hook.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
If you're talking about a political figure,
I'm saying of
yes,
a
I can
figure.
See that. I can see that. I think if we're talking about culture impact as a shooting, I think there's an argument for Uvalde, Sandy Hook, or even locally, Saugus High School. That only, I put that in quotes because only is still a lot.
Yeah.
Killed 3 kids locally.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I'm speaking more from a individual, politically influential person who, out of surprise, completely out of nowhere. I mean, RFK was down at the hotel here in Los Angeles. So we're getting some good photos and some good media from Deseret News. We're going to throw that up on the screen for you guys here.
Yeah, and I'm going to describe it for our guests who are joining us here in Santa Clarita. We are starting to get on the ground images from the Deseret News, which once again, shout out to them. That is a terrifying situation for anyone to be in, and to keep your wits about you as a reporter and still keep rolling. Good on you. And what we're seeing students, as I mentioned before, very young people scrambling through the waterscape that was there in the green space on campus in order to try to escape, and kids clinging to each other as they are running. So it is a very visceral images of fear as these kids are going to try to get away from whatever is happening, because they don't know where the shot came from. They really don't. Like, as we've mentioned before, especially I think it's actually a great example of what we were talking about just a couple minutes ago, is these are kids who have spent their whole lives training for school shootings.
Great point.
Yeah, and I'd like to, thank you for weighing in, Jen. Jen, you have kids. You have kids, and I think you see this a lot more often than we do.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking because, to your point, Jade, these kids just automatically start running. Will this political atmosphere, for lack of a better word, ever lighten up? Ever? And I don't know. Is it out of control? At this point, in terms of, it won't ever come back to just a normal kind of, it's okay if I disagree with you and vice versa. I think we are way past that, and it is nice to see people like Charlie Kirk and those who just not necessarily deserve one, if I can be honest. Right?
You want some fruit juice?
Do I want some fruit juice? Yeah. Hold on. Here we go.
I mean, actually, seriously, it's like one of those fruit things.
I probably wouldn't be able to talk for. I'm recovering from laryngitis. Okay, Susan brought up a really good point here. Susan, what's the average age of shooters nationally? You've covered a lot of these in your own radio station.
Right, ages 20 to 30. There's been some political assassins that were like age 48. But this guy looks to be in his 70s. He has a bald head, white hair. He could almost be like a professor-looking type, and hope to God he's not associated with the university in any way, because we know that universities can harbor some pretty radical people, but we don't know anything about that. But to see somebody this old as an assassin, we haven't seen this. This is very strange.
Yeah, so we only can confirm that we've got videos of somebody being arrested. And detained, sorry, I should say, taken into custody. Yes, exactly. So,
all sorts of legalese there.
Yes, we can only say that it's been, by the way, I should have live streamed this landscape. We're having to get real. I'm practically huddled over the laptop.
I have a giant laptop, so it's
geez Louise. So, how much time until we come back?
Minute and a half.
All right.
So there's
Okay.
Okay.
We
46,000 students, and
Okay.
16 of those are concurrent high school students.
Okay, so look this.
Thank you so much for
Well,
letting me
this
jump
is what
in.
she said.
Here's some
Is that okay?
stats. Here's some
Yeah.
stats on UVU.
That was fantastic.
Okay.
No, I
I was trying to like.
It's so helpful because that's half the time what I'm doing is
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
Here's
scrolling
some
down.
additional stats on UVU as well, just so you get an idea.
So 46,809 students, which is a 4.83%.
And 16,000 are high school students.
Which means they're concurrent enrollment.
Yes, they're concurrently enrolled. Yeah. No, it used to be called UVSC, which is Utah Valley
We're
State
coming in
College.
1 minute.
Got
Unless
it.
you guys need a little more time.
No, no,
No,
no.
and
It's
I'll
fine.
have I do have an official like update from the college itself, so I can start by reading that.
Okay.
And then also, if you just need the time, go to Facebook. President Trump said something. JD Vance.
Perfect.
Okay, President
Yeah,
Trump,
and
JD
then-
Vance. Okay.
Also, a big crowd.
And I'll have those up on the
There's
screen.
UVU. Do we have Orem PD up?
Not yet. I will pull them up. How do they spell them?
Okay. Orem PD is OREM
Got it.
PD. There will be, though, UVU has its own police department, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe
30
that-
seconds. guys.
So
Got it.
yeah, I would look up UVU Police Department. Then Spencer Cox is the name of the governor. So there will be links there, and it's spelled COX, traditional spelling.
Yeah, I saw him. I'm checking to see if
Imagine if Moby had a skinny younger brother. That's what Spencer Cox looks like. You know, it's-
nothing from Orem PD yet. I can't find their social media.
All right, here we go.
and then
Breaking
Deseret News.
stinger
Deseret
one.
News. Oh,
5 seconds.
and KSL.
And we are back at KHTS. I am here. My name is Jade Abishan. I'm with KHTS Newsroom, and I am accompanied by Cardin Ellis, who is actually one of the hosts with WardRadio. He was supposed to be here with us for his other side job for the for the senior
For a
hour.
different podcast, different radio show. But hey.
National news struck, and that was unfortunately a political commentator. Charlie Kirk was shot. We are waiting to hear back more information about his status. We do know that at least one person is in custody currently. How did this happen? It happened at about 12:10 today when a shot was fired at Charlie Kirk.
Which adds just even more salt in the wound, which is probably not the right phrase to choose. It's sickening to know that people is in custody. We know nothing else about this person.
And well, actually, unfortunately, I can tell you I know a little bit too much about this person.
You have people who
I'm
were
looking
there,
at
right,
the
Gordon?
video. I'm looking at the video right now, and Twitter's already picked up on this. It looks like he was stripped down of his pants. It's an older gentleman, looks like to be in his 60s or 70s. He is wearing the ceremonial clothing of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which would insinuate that he has an affiliation, unfortunately, with my beloved faith. And if this is indeed the person that is detained and is responsible, obviously God damn him, and he is not operating within the confines of what he has been taught his entire life. So I hope it's not him, obviously. But if it is, there will be an immediate renunciation, obviously, from the church and others. Did we have somebody that called that was unfortunately there that's calling in? Were you able to talk to them?
Yeah, so we have somebody who will be calling in the next couple of minutes. We're working on getting them transferred over to our station right now. We're dealing with some moving technological stuff around right now to make sure that we have everybody set and ready to go. But yes, hopefully we will be having a witness on the air with us in just a moment, which, you know, I think everybody knows pretty much at this point, but it is a very large portion of the population of Utah and the surrounding areas are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so we can't necessarily say anything for certain.
Yep.
But this does imply that the alleged shooter does possibly live in the area of at least a few states around, because I know also Idaho has a pretty good population as well.
Same with Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona, so on, that whole band right there. So it does imply that the alleged shooter was somewhere within the area and that this may have been taken as an opportunity when Mr. Kirk happened to be in the area.
Okay. So what exactly is that process? I want to make sure that this person, I'm going to flip the camera around here. I want to make sure that this person here, the answer right there.
Yeah.
For those of you that are just tuning in, here's everything that we know. Charlie Kirk, beloved commentator on the conservative side of the argument in the United States of America, has a series called Prove Me Wrong, similar to Steven Crowder's Ask Me Anything. He sits in front of large college campus audiences behind a table, flanked, surprisingly, by a lot of security.
Yes, but as we mentioned previously, is that the thing with a gun is it is a ranged weapon. Just because security is right there doesn't necessarily mean that the gun was right there.
Yeah, okay, true. Either way, we don't recommend you go looking at the close-up videos because they are very graphic, very brutal, probably going to be taken down from most social media platforms that are on right now.
Absolutely.
They're live leak type of videos. They are the kind of videos that you go searching for if you're studying Iraq war stuff.
It was the sort of videos that used to be on the internet a lot more easily accessible when you and I were younger.
Yes.
And it is for better that they are no longer as easily accessible.
Yeah, once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and it sufficeth to say, I don't see how a man survives this. He seems to have been shot in the neck, received catastrophic arterial damage, and we were originally going on air confirming bystander reports from myriad friends of mine that were actually at the rally or had immediate friends and family that were at the rally. And we're vetting somebody to come on the air with us right now that will hopefully be able to shine some light on what really happened outside of what we're able to see on social media. But I have all kinds of different reports, bystander reports flooding in onto my phone from friends and family who are there saying they don't think he will be able to make it or actually has made it up until this point. But all of the official avenues are completely silent on this issue.
Contact the family first,
Yes.
if at all possible, so that they are the first ones to actually know that their loved one is gone. So there is an attempt actually made in order to contact his wife, his family, whoever his next of kin is. So as a member of the media, I can weigh in on this from a Los Angeles County perspective. Let's say somebody dies in a car crash. I am not allowed to receive confirmation on their identity. Thank you so much for joining us at KHTS Radio. What is your name? Hi, Lise. How are you doing? Are you okay? I'm sure. What were you doing there today?
Okay, so Lise, can you describe what happened? Hopefully without using profanity, because we are going to be on air at a family radio station. Could you describe to us what happened in as much detail as you can give? Okay, so unfortunately,
So you were in the front row, which we had described this. Yes, yeah, we had described this location before. This happened kind of in a quad area in almost an outdoor green space. Is that correct? So what happened? What happened in the immediate aftermath? You were sitting in the front row. You were fairly close to Mr. Kirk himself. What was your what did you think had happened? In the immediate aftermath, did you see what happened? In the immediate aftermath, did you see what happened to Mr. Kirk? Or like, did anybody grab him or pull him backstage?
Yeah. After she's done her, take a break and we'll just go right through. But come behind us one. Come in this just.
okay, so I just want to make sure, WardRadio listeners, really fast, can you hear? We've had to put our headphones up against my phone so that you guys can hear what our listener is saying. But basically, we're on the air right now with Lise. She Was there, is it fair to say you were in the front row or the front row area, Lise?
She was in the front seated row from what she said.
Okay. We had some technical difficulties on our end, and I ended up having to put the live stream headset up against my phone for people that are live stream on WardRadio. Could you just re-describe briefly what happened for our listeners again? Not all of them were able to get that. I apologize for that, but could you just really quickly say what happened?
Everybody fell down to the ground. Then I don't remember how many seconds I kind of looked up and I saw four, I think his people, one man at each arm, one man at each leg, carrying him off. And then people slowly were trying to get out. There wasn't trampling or anything, but people were trying to get out. And I actually went back in after I left because I couldn't find my wallet. And then I left again, and I saw the guy turn himself in. I don't know if it's the same one they're saying they caught this little guy. He's like, just shoot me. And then he said, I did it. And the cop was kind of like, what? And so he turned him around and handcuffed him. I don't believe that was the shooter.
You don't believe that was the shooter?
We didn't see someone run down with a gun. My guess is it was someone further away with a rifle.
Yeah, could you describe the person that you saw get taken into custody? How did that go?
He was an old guy, short, old guy, crew cut.
Was he balding? There's a lot of pictures on social media.
Maybe 60, 70.
Okay, with white hair and a very large bald spot on top.
Crew cut.
And wearing blue?
And then, as they were locking him up, I don't know if they took a belt off of him, but his pants dropped to the ground and you could see he was held up.
Yeah, okay, so we're talking about the same guy, it seems like. But
The problem, I think